So as we said in the beginning, when you encounter someone starting out in Decentraland for the very first time, and they approach you, they see that you have a name registered, that you have some more advanced wearables on you, they have still that, that starter name with a little hashtag in the back. And then they come and ask you, hey, hello, um, what can I do here? What's so cool about this? And I've encountered this also at events when somebody will just put into chat, but is this it? And you're like, it's a fair question, right? This is what I have asked myself when I joined Decentraland 9 months ago. I came in, I was running around, everything was empty, it was just green grass. And from time to time, I would see some kind of billboard with an ad on it, and then there will be nothing else for a long time. And we have come a long way since, but still the question remains. So then I sat down today and I just put a list of things together that where I feel, okay, you cannot play per se in Decentraland. You cannot come in, you cannot go to a place and game and have an entertaining session. I mean, the closest that comes to it, in my opinion, is maybe that meteorite cracking that some people enjoy doing. And I've done it for a little bit, and it is kind of a little bit fun, but it's not something that I would come to Decentraland to play, right? So at this stage today is a lot like real life. You want to go there and you want to be human in a different context without your it's a bit of a second identity, a bit of a second chance to be you, but slightly different, right? When you ask me how to play Decentraland, I say to myself, okay, so if I cannot do something fun in world, what have I done for the past 9 months? Because I've been inside Decentraland every single day for, besides all my other duties in real life. I've been on every single day pretty much. If you come to Decentraland, you come to learn stuff. Like, you're not gonna get around learning a lot of things. And I've pretty much adopted Twitter. I've adopted Discord. I've adopted various marketplaces, including OpenSea.io. I've read up on their APIs. I've read up on how to create white label marketplaces. There's a whole infrastructure behind that. Behind the marketplace in Decentraland, there is the graph. There's a whole lot of reading on that, and people are speculating on the coin, but actually it's a very cool infrastructure product that apparently the Decentraland marketplace is based on. For sure, I've become a heavy user of MetaMask and Ethereum and gas. Like, there is one thing of knowing about it, and another thing is actually knowing how to use it well. I've completely adopted YouTube, creating YouTube channels, live streams, using Photoshop for thumbnails, using Premiere Pro for editing, cutting, working with audio. I got a mic that is of decent quality. We have learned how to use decentralized exchanges, such as, for example, Uniswap, right? I've learned Blender, how to use Blender to do 3D animations and 3D designs. I'm not amazing at it, but I picked up a skill that normal people do not pick up just like that. And I even managed to pick up a little bit of SDK, a bit of command line stuff, like something I would have never imagined I would do. And this is, frankly speaking, for me, what playing Decentraland is today. So if you ask me again, like, what does it mean to play Decentraland? I would say it means you come in and you play, learning how to build this world, learning how to become part of a new world. Imagine you would be born again, not onto planet Earth, but onto a different planet that hasn't fully started yet. It was, it will start in 10 years, and you were born earlier, and you have an opportunity to prepare yourself, to make plans, to meet people, to build up the infrastructure so that when the game, quote unquote, starts, you are there to play it, right? So right now, it's like this wonderful, beautiful preparation phase where you decide who you want to be when the world starts to exist for real. And the truth is, it has already started. It's already started. That's the whole point. Right now, you pick your profession. Right now, you pick your passion. You pick your little niche inside this new world. and you have a little bit of time to become good at it before the real thing starts. Because when the real pros are going to come onto the platform, people who know how to develop and they will see like a potential here, you better be prepared. If you want to survive on this platform, you better know some of the things. You better have a tight network of people who can help you create stuff as well, so you do not like completely lose track of what's going on. I really think we have a chance now because we are in so early. We have a little bit of time to figure it out, right? But I've learned many more things. Let's just go back to the list. How about NFTs? Like this seems to be a technology that is up and coming. And frankly speaking, without Decentraland, I might have just missed on it. I'm not from the art space, and I know high profile people in the art space, and they are not familiar with the NFT idea, right? So even people like high profile artists are not necessarily on top of the game. And Decentraland kind of gives me constant access to these worlds, digital art, NFTs. I mean, even blockchain analysis, right? How do you research an address? How do you figure out who owns an item? How do you know which wearable has what item ID and what contract it belongs to and what collection it actually is? How do you create your own collection on Rarible? How do you mint your own NFT? All of these things I picked up because of Decentraland. So if you ask me, how do you play Decentraland? I will tell you, you learn. You learn about NFTs, you learn about digital art, you learn about Ethereum, about blockchain analysis. You learn these things. This is how you play Decentraland today. But let's continue with the list. I really want to give it to you guys today because I think we need to explain to people that come onto the platform how you play Decentraland. And I don't think the explanation is, hey, why don't you go to coordinates such and such, and the most amazing experience will await you? Because I doubt this will ever happen, right? I think we've spoken about this many times that Decentraland is maybe more of a gateway. It's more of a map. It's more of a door to a lot of different universes. And I have an example for you. Maybe you remember we played a game of sorts for the Christmas competitions, for the Christmas events. We had that little game, and some of you who participated, maybe you remember it. You were on this sledge and you had to deliver the little gifts to different houses and so forth. And maybe you've noticed that you played that game on a single parcel. You were on, I think, on minus 55, minus 77 or something like that. And the whole experience there happened on that one parcel, right? This was one little parcel had this gateway into this whole new world where it felt like you were in a second Decentraland. So I think coming back to the original point, Decentraland could be a map of experiences, and you don't technically play it. You don't walk around Decentraland with your sword out, looking for monsters, and that's not how you play Decentraland. Right? So if somebody would ask me, how do you play Decentraland? I would give them the previous points, and I would tell them how not to do it, what not to expect. There's more. There is more. I think a lot of people have the opportunity to improve on their social skills. I think Decentraland is instrumental for that. How do you get what you want from other people? How do you be nice with other people? How do you reach out to other people? How do you use technology to connect with other people? And for some people, this might seem to be like a thing that, everybody knows about, but trust me, a lot of people, and I probably will include myself into that bunch, they need to constantly readjust and reevaluate the situation. And like Decentraland is a wonderful opportunity to practice that skill, especially if you put yourself out there and you do things, you communicate, you publish things, you get involved, you criticize, and sometimes you make mistakes and you get punished. And there is a whole social experience in Decentraland. So if you ask me, how do you play Decentraland? This is how you do it. You get involved, you become part of things. You go onto Discord and you see what people talk about and you try to add some value. If you know how to build something, why don't you build something? If you know how to talk, why don't you talk about someone's project? If you know social media, why don't you take the content someone put together and bring it to a wide range of people with your skills? If you have money, why don't you become a sponsor of a project? There is so many ways you can put yourself to use inside Decentraland, and this is how you play it today. So if somebody asks you how do you play Decentraland, this is what I'm telling them. Make your skills useful. There is a space for everyone, and there is a need for everyone. And I learned about marketing and influencing. I learned how important it is what you think and what you say. I always felt like it's such a large world and there's so many people and you have just another opinion. But the truth is, when you go out there and you provide people with something good, you might not necessarily feel an immediate response or some kind of return, but eventually you realize that it changes things, sometimes just silently in the background. And I think when you are interacting with 5 or 10 or 50 people in your real life, you don't get to experience that really. But inside Decentraland, where you could potentially interact with 1,000 people, you actually start to realize how important it is, what your attitude is, and how you behave, and what you say, and what your intention is. I mean, some people, they came to this world and they just want to benefit. They want to withdraw from the bank account, right? They see this mass of people, they see crypto, and they want to fill their bags. And yeah, I understand it. I'm not going to lie. I get it. But I think that's too early for that kind of stuff, right? I think first, right now, you have to pay into that bank account a little bit. Just pay something, at least to not withdraw. This is how you play Decentraland today, I would say. What do you guys think? I'm curious. So, if you want to ask me how to play Decentraland, I would say launch it, launch your own DAO, launch your proposal, put it up on the forum, ask your friends to vote, put it on Twitter, make a video about it, explain why it's good what you want to do. And maybe you realize in the process it actually doesn't matter because you're not willing to put in the energy. This is how you play Decentraland today. One thing I learned from this whole decentralized world is that it comes with a lot of responsibilities, and this sounds like a bit cliche, but I learned this also from the Hex community. If you want your your project to perform, you have to do a portion to support this process. You don't have to do everything. You don't even have to do a lot, but you have to do something, a little bit of a contribution. Go to Blender, learn how to create a table, make it available for download somewhere, let people download it for free, talk about it. It doesn't take much. If 100 people do that, we'll have a full asset pack with 100 different items which we can all use to build our universe. It's simple. This is how you play Decentraland. And yes, of course, we do have events and cool DJs coming on from time to time. London Underground, Kraken event, Binance Lounge, Rarible Drop. Yes, we do have these events and it's fun to be there. And yes, we do miss some functionality to fully enjoy it. And yes, the voice chat does not really work right now properly, right? But it will eventually. But this is only a small component of the game. These social events are always quite awkward, I find. This standing around in a circle, and most people are kind of shy, and I get this in large groups of people. I do tend to get shy as well, and it doesn't necessarily work yet, but it's just a part of the experience right now, and you have to be there. That's how you play Decentraland. It's not that it's not supposed to be super fun right now. What you just have to be there with your avatar, with your name, with your gear, and be present and be available. And that's how you play right now. That's as good as it gets, and it's wonderful that it's like this because at some point in the future when there's going to be thousands of players in each and every realm, and you'll actually have to make sure you define in what realm you go to, because otherwise you wouldn't find people. Like, maybe that will come in a year or 2 or 3 years, God knows. But right now, if you ask me how to play Decentraland, this is how you play it. You just go in, you be present for 15 minutes, for half an hour. You dance, you create a good atmosphere, you support others, you be fun. Yeah, you know, we are at the cutting edge of technology here, and this is the beauty. The fact that you have somehow found out about this, and the fact that you came to Decentraland and you actually did have the MetaMask and you did have some Ethereum to create an account and log in and have a name and maybe even buy a land and then buy some clothes and maybe even spend $3,000-4,000 on wearables like some people I know. Maybe you were that lucky to have that courage and have that time and have that information that this exists and have that open-mindedness to be in that early before every single child knows about it. I think it's amazing. And this is how you play Decentraland. You be patient, you come on, and you do all of these things. Why don't you beta test the voice chat and put together a document saying what's working, what's not working, and what you would like to see, and maybe point to a great example where this is working well, and then put it up for a vote on the DAO or inside the Discord in the feedback area. That's how you play Decentraland, right? Well, I mean, and the whole community really is from the crypto space. So I think a great way of staying up to date on what's going in the crypto space is just being part of the Twitter community. And by being part of the Decentraland Twitter community, you are automatically also part of the crypto conversations. And I think, this is a nice side effect that by being part of the Decentraland game, you're also being part of that other component of it. Yeah. So if you ask me, I mean, this was a long rant. I hope this resonates with you guys because I feel quite passionate about it. And I must tell you, I've had a moment not that long ago where I just felt like I just want to sell all of these things and move on. I felt like this is never going to materialize, and then I made the first steps towards that, and I realized that I would lose something important, and I reversed everything, and I launched as hard as never before. I think if you ask me how to play Decentraland, you asked me how to play life. And maybe it's a second chance for many of you there to get your act together, become part of something, launch something, build something, talk about something, become an expert at something. And maybe do it again and again and help others. And eventually, the way that the universe works, you will be on the winning side of things. And that's exactly how I feel today. And yeah,